Hi, this is Sarah, and today I'm going to be reviewing all in one swoop the 50 Shades of Grey series by E.L. James. I had not heard anything about these books, literally had not, and a girlfriend of mine in my knitting group is a manager at an Indigo in the city, and apparently they've been just flying off the shelf at her store, and she brought it up, and pretty much nobody in the group had heard of it. And then all of a sudden, when she mentioned it, all of us were saying the same thing. I can't believe once you said it, everybody I knew was talking about it, and they're all reading it, and they're all like, it's awesome, and it's not. That sort of thing. Now, I'm going to say something, and I'm going to qualify this the best I can. I think that reading is a wonderful thing. I think that it enriches your life. I think that it allows you to bring something to a conversation. I think everything that you read teaches you something. And learning is always good and important. Now, I read all three of them. If you haven't read them yet, and you are somebody like me who loves to read terrible books, or you watch stuff like this and you're like, I'm going to read it myself because even though everybody says it's terrible, some people say it's terrible, or some people say it's like, oh my god, it changes your life. If you're one of those people like, I'm going to read it myself anyway, because I like to form my own opinions, then I recommend that you shut this video off. Try and come back to it in a few days when you've read at least some of the first book. See how you feel about it then. Now, like I said, reading is good. Reading teaches people. Reading, awesome. So, my personal opinion is that these books are terrible. As it was told to me, these are an adaptation of a Twilight fan fiction. Now, I wasn't entirely sure about that. So, I had downloaded the Twilight, the first three. I think I've got all of them now downloaded to read on my phone. So I'm reading through, and I'm on the second book actually of the Twilight series now, which isn't as bad as I thought, but I will talk about those in another video. But I have seen all the films up to date. It's just, I don't know, out of curiosity, I just watched them. Don't judge me. I'm not a twihard. I just thought, well, everybody else is watching it, and if everybody else jumped off the bridge, I would too. So I did. And they weren't terrible, but, I mean, I watched them, and the whole time I was like, Kristen Stewart annoys me. I really don't like that guy done up as Edward when he's Edward. When he's not done up like Edward, he looks okay. And the guy who plays... No, I wouldn't be on Team Jacob anyway. I don't know, because there's something about his face and his body and his everything. There's just something about him, and I just don't like him. I don't find him attractive. It's just something about his entire head. I don't know. I'm just offended by the shape of his head, I guess. And in the first movie, when he's got the long hair, and it's like, to me, that obviously looks like a wig. Like, you were wearing a hairpiece. Like, this movie probably cost a lot of money, and they couldn't even put a hairpiece on you, so it doesn't look like a hairpiece. I'm just shocked and appalled. I mean, I'm sure that there's more than enough fit young actors they could have found and been like, look, we're gonna pay you like $1 million, and later on, you with the long hair, we're gonna cut your hair, but we're gonna make it look nice. I'm sure they could have found somebody. And he wasn't a very good actor. But I really like the guy who played Carlisle. And I really like the supporting cast. The people who played it. But oh my god, it's completely, actually, I'm completely, like, tangent and everything. What I was saying was that I read the 3 books. The 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades Darker, and I think it was like 50 Shades Freed or something. In the first book, we meet Anna, or Anastasia, and her friend Kate is sick. So obviously her friend Kate, who's a journalism student, who leads the student magazine, rather than calling one of the other reporters at her student magazine, gets her best friend, who was a major of some kind. Classics, I think. Like, you know, she was going to go into publishing. So, yeah. Who did no research, knew nothing, didn't have any notes about this guy, to go and interview this supremely rich megalomaniac dude. And she goes and she makes an ass of herself and falls into his office and blah, blah, blah. And then he becomes completely obsessed with her and uses lots and lots of money and resources to stalk her, then take her on a date at some point in time where he flies her in a helicopter. And then it turns out that he's into BDSM, but I don't know. Like, I started reading these books because I was told that they were at least some brand of smut. And I was told right by the original girl who had told me about the books. Like, that loads of people were disappointed who actually like smutty books because they weren't as smutty as previously. Like, some people are like, oh, it's so dirty. And then some people who actually have dirty sex are like, this isn't dirty at all. I didn't think I had dirty sex until I read these books and I was like, that's not dirty at all. So, if your friends are reading this, well, you know, just talk to your friends. You can tell which one of your friends is really kinky by just saying, you know, hey, do you think it's kinky? And if they say not really, then you know they're kind of kinky. But the biggest thing is, if they're like, oh my god, it's really kinky sex, you know that friend is vanilla. Like, beyond vanilla. And, oh my god, yes, that's right, throughout all 3 of the books, sex that doesn't involve toys or handcuffs or any kind of restraint or anything is referred to as vanilla. But then after a while, it's anything that isn't, or anything that's just in their bedroom or just not in what's referred to as the Red Room of Pain, which is like his playroom. And as you go on through the books, basically it's determined that he only really likes BDSM because he suffered hideous child abuse, and the first woman who he never had sex with, who he was introduced him to this lifestyle, was his mom's best friend, and therefore it was sexual molestation, and yeah. So basically, this book teaches you that BDSM is only for damaged, broken people, and also that even though it might sexually fulfill you, if you love an awkward girl enough, that you won't want it anymore. I don't have a problem if people want to whip their partners. I don't mind. I mean, as long as you're both consenting adults, like, I think that's cool. And I think that this book this book teaches 2 messages One, that if you like anything other than missionary style, apparently you're some sort of damaged goods sicko and you need help. And two, that as long as you really, really love someone, it's okay for them to entirely control your life. Because there's more than once in the book where somebody's like, he's really controlling, isn't he? And Anastasia's just like, yeah, he's dreamy. It's like, what the fuck? It's like a girlfriend mindset. You know, it's if you took some of the conversations out of context, you would immediately think abuse, get away. But it's, I guess because he's rich, it's fine. I'm not really sure, and I'm very confused. And in the end, they wind up getting married and having kids. And also, along the way, his adopted sister is kidnapped, and then Anastasia has to go and drop off the ransom and gets the shit kicked into her and shoots a guy, and I don't know. If I had to rate these books through some sort of numbering system, which I've decided maybe I should do, I would give these books a 2 out of 5. Because they weren't... Okay. Here's the disclaimer. I didn't read them in hardcover. Or a hard copy, I mean. Had I read them in hard copy, I would apparently have been very disappointed. Because my girlfriend who works at the bookstore had mentioned that the binding wasn't the greatest. You know, there's a lot of people coming in who really, really loved it, she said, but the quality of the physical book, the physical bound book itself, isn't that great. So that it gets damp and wobble, looking very easily, which I don't like. Personally, I like when my books have thicker pages and stuff. I mean, I can understand with something like this where it's like, I don't know, maybe they think if they bind it more cheaply and it's supposed to be smut, then through rereading people are going to have to buy new copies because they broke it. I don't know. But like I said, I read the digital copy. I mean, I think I've got the usual complaints. I mean, you know, you get a few editing errors, you know, the occasion, but it was just straight up. I mean, there was spelling mistakes all over the place. There was shit grammar. It was a bit of a pain in the ass to read sometimes. And I read the entire 3 books. It took about a week to do so. I could not find one redeeming characteristic. I did not like one single character. There's a point where our heroine winds up in the hospital, and I was praying that she'd be dead on the next page, because that would have made it better. I think they were all really flat, 2-dimensional characters. Like, Anastasia should have been a developed sort of character, and she wasn't. And also, she was a direct ripoff of Bella Swan, including having not just Bella Swan's characteristics. It's literally she took Kristen Stewart and she put Kristen Stewart in a book. So Kristen Stewart's portrayal of Bella Swan in a book. No, if you're gonna rip off like a really well-known book franchise, don't rip off the movie of the book. That's all. You know what? That's all I have to say. If you really insist on reading them, I would love to hear your opinion too. I absolutely would love to hear your opinion too, and start some sort of because I'm really actually enjoying doing these, and there's loads of books that I really love. And like I said, I'm reading through the Twilight series. I still have to finish A Song of Fire and Ice. I'm Ice and Fire. What a fucking George R. R. Martin. I haven't gotten any farther in book 3. So I have to read 3 and 4. And then I have to get my hands on the 5th one. I have to read through the Wheel of Time before the end of the year. I mean, I absolutely have to do that because beginning of next year, the last book is coming out and I have to read it. You know, you've been reading something for years. You've got to finish it. And what else? Nothing. Studying. Lots of studying. Excuse me. Anyway, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this to at least some extent. If you have not enjoyed it, please feel free to let me know below. If you'd like to shout at me about how much you either love or hate this book, these books, please put it down below. More handily enough, if you are somebody that reads a lot of smut, if you'd like to recommend some good smut, please leave it down below or message me. I'm more than willing to review smut. And as my lady friend suggested it, I will pass on the suggestion to you that if you are to look up Anne Rice's Sleeping Beauty series, it's under the name Anne Rampling, usually. She says that is very good smut. So should you require some smut, there you go. Enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, by all means, get in touch with me either down there or up there, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye.